Okay, so we're live over here. Is that going to stay? Will you guys be able to hear? I won't have anything to check the hearing. And then over here, we're going live. Why isn't this one straight? Okie dokie. Let me go live here. Oh, wait. Wrong title. Let me stop. Go back. Hey, you guys. We're going to, Real Housewives of Miami final installment is coming on tonight for the reunion, part 3 of 3. I don't think they really needed 3 parts, but they got 3 parts. Hey, and that's not my business. That's not my business. Let's see. So, in anticipation of tonight's reunion and after last week's revelation on Real Housewives of Miami, thanks for coming to LRGA Curves today. Make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring my bell. Ring my bell so you can get notified next time I upload a video. So this is a Real Housewives of Miami reunion pregame. Okay. And then I'm going to change this picture over here to Adriana. Let's select it from the library. Thanks for coming to LRGA Curves. Can you guys even hear me okay? Let me make sure. Is this even up? Oh, look, the volume was down. Can you even hear me? Can somebody put a 1 in the chat? If I am heard, actually, you know what? Right before I have to set this picture. Select, take a photo. 1, right on, Erica. Thank you, Gabby. You guys rock. I appreciate that. You know how much I love to play. And that's playing. You guys, we just did patty cake practically. I asked with a clap. You asked with a clap back. See? So yeah, so this is a pregame for Real Housewives of Miami. A couple of things happened since last week's second episode of Real Housewives of Miami. And so I wanted to make sure we got over here to talk about it and see what we can saw. Because what did we hear? Alexia claimed last week that she and Todd were through. He's blocked. He's never coming back. How dare he? She was like really leaning into everything Todd said is a lie. And so much so, it's a lie that he is suing Bravo for $10 million, you guys. I have the paperwork. We were going to go over that, but I'm going to be live on both devices. How can I do that? You know what I could do maybe is, I could hurry up and upload these. Maybe, I don't know. Let me see, because yeah, we'll have to be able to read them. Let's just second. So yeah, are you guys looking forward to Real Housewives of Miami? Were you anticipating Julia claiming that Julia's been smashing Adriana, and Adriana was holding her tight little pussy hostage over her head? Literally and literally, huh? But seriously, last week, Julia claimed that her and Adriana hooked up in the Hamptons episode where she was like feeding her vodka and pickles, plying her with alcohol. Talk about naked, wasted, okay? Because she was plying her with alcohol. And then, as it turned out, she petted her with something else. Because Adriana said, oh, we didn't have like scissors or anything. I just was like, she petted me. Now, I'm not sure what petting means. I don't know. That's not my ball game. That's not my carpet. But she says that it wasn't actual smecks. Okay. So, and I'm prone to believe Adriana because we know that Julia's a liar. So for 17 episodes, Julia lied to us and told us, in no uncertain terms, mind you, that Gertie begged to go on this trip with her and then got upset when she couldn't come sit at the captain's table. But did you guys hear the latest? Captain Sandy entered the chat and somebody asked her in an interview. They were like, oh, what was the kerfuffle? She was like, there was enough rooms. Everybody was welcome. There was never any limited anything. And if there wasn't a seat, then we would have definitely pulled up a seat for Gertie kind of thing, right? And then she said, and then Leah is Captain Sandy's wife. And Captain Sandy's wife was at the table that night in question. And she entered the chat too. And she's like, you know, now that I think about it, I didn't even see Julia that night. And Julia does have a history of throwing that cat around. Haitian morticians, cops, kissing black guys that she says are her friends. Remember, larceny, we call her larceny, because her old face said there's been a crime committed because we don't know where it is. So larceny was like, said when she first met Julia, after Alexia called her a freaking Russian bot. Remember, she's like, oh, you're a Russian escort. Remember, that's how Alexia and Julia started, was she didn't even want to sit next to her. She's like, oh, I don't associate with Russian escorts. And then it turned into now they're best friends, right? So Alexia and Marisol are now with Julia, and Adriana's by herself, even though she let Julia pet her and even wrote 2 letters for Julia to get access to those 2 black babies to exploit them for a storyline and obviously her marriage. Because what we're about to listen to in this here interview with Bryce Sander is Adriana Demora, and she's going to be spilling tea. She's like, all bets are off. Look, here's a PSA. If you ever have a good Sally, and you tell that good Sally everything, and you've pet her, and you have a wife, and you have more to lose than she does because she's single and free, and you're the one that's married to a freaking athletic icon. And yeah, so she's about to tell us that, yes, this is problems for them, and it has been problems for them. But the PSA is, if you ever have a friend, don't tell them everything. You don't have to tell people everything, because then when you fall out, if you decide one day that in order to save your ass, it's their ass, but you only tell half the truth and the rest of the truth still has to be told, and the rest is worse than the little shit that you spilled, we'll just call that a Adriana Demora from now on. An Adriana Demora. Let's get to it, you guys. So I'm going to play this over here, and TikTok will just have to catch up. Are you going to start? These touch screens. Let me try over here. Okay, let me try this. Damn it. Let's flip this. Hi. I forget. Oh, look.
On this issue that
damn it. I had everything perfect.
You don't know.
Hi. It's still perfect. No problem.
In the Hamptons.
In the Hamptons.
Adriana and I slept together. And shortly after, she said to me, "Why are you sleeping if you're married?"
So we ended part 1 with Julia.
Okay, let me rewind it. Now that I got my shit together, people, thanks for bearing with me. So we're about to listen to this interview where Julia should have probably told the whole truth on herself if she was talking about, oh, I'm telling because I want her to blackmail me.
We are in the middle of watching this very wild Real Housewives of Miami reunion. You wanted to talk today. What do you hope to get across to people in our conversation?
Why does it sound so low?
Just some clarification on this issue.
Oh, his
that
voice is low.
Gone viral.
Auntie, what you don't know, but Adriana does. In the Hamptons, Adriana and I slept together. And shortly after, she said to me, "Why are you sleeping if you're married?"
So we ended part one with Julia alleging that the two of you had had sex. We learned in part two that she said it happened multiple times. You said it was just heavy petting. What does heavy petting entail, Adriana?
Well, I guess just what it is, heavy petting. You know, like she's saying that, well, let me say it this way to be diplomatic. And it was the wise words of somebody I actually idolized. So, in the words of Mariah Carey, all I can say is that I don't know her.
If you live in a California
Do you
system
guys
and have
feel
zero
like-
DUIs in the last
Oh my
5 years,
God. They just asked me, did I want to upgrade?
Private parts.
We had sex. We slept
What?
together.
You got kiss or finger?
We were intimate.
Julia was refusing to offer any details that would kind of confirm what happened or the extent of what happened. You did make mention of,
What do you mean? What do I mean? My sweet little want to know.
but there was never any penetration. There was never anything.
No. No, there was nothing that actually, for me, like I said, I don't know her private parts. No scissoring, no intercourse. It was just, heavy petting.
So it was like first base, second base kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have made out with Julia.
Yeah.
Your friendship kind of always had this mysterious air about it because it did feel deeper than just a connection. We had the whole friend engagement, lots of raw emotions. We even cut back, I think, in that reunion to the crying in the rain of "You Opened Up My Heart." Have you ever had romantic feelings for Julia, or do you believe she's ever had them for you?
So far, like I said, she's like, I don't know her. I don't know her. Yes, this is a housewife of Miami. I think I put it in the description. This is a housewife of Miami. And, oh, darn, I didn't see that. We won't be long. This is a housewife of Miami, and she's did an interview, and tonight is the final episode of Real Housewives of Miami. And it's the third installment. And in the second installment last week, Julia, her co-star, the girl who she brought on the show 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, says that they hooked up in the Hamptons on one of the cast trips when the cameras were there and everything. Like, they totally hooked up. And she's saying, no, it wasn't like hook up. Like, she's like, there was petting is what she's saying. But she's single. And Julia Limgova is the one who is married to Martina Navratilova, who is a tennis icon. She was like the best of the best of the best back in the day. And now she's obviously retired and just being a freaking icon. And she's married to this younger wife who is Julia, and she was a model and da-da-da-da. So this is her truth. And this is like just more fuel for tonight's reunion. But the people on the reunion, it's already been taped. So it won't have any impact on tonight, except for that we have additional information from the mouth of somebody who's not a known liar, which is her, compared to whatever Julia is about to continue as her story about the situation tonight. Because Julia is a known liar, like just L-I-E-E-R, like a liar. Okay?
I believe that that whole free engagement thing was something she has done all her life. She was engaged 9 times, prior to our engagement. And now looking back, I feel like I was, engagement target number 10. Just her MO is something she's done all her life to get ahead, using people, getting, engaged. So a free engagement, it was just something she's had done over and over again. For me, I was kind of like, oh my God, because I loved her like a friend. But she was blurring the lines of friendship and free engagement. But like I said, now looking back, I see that's her MO.
Why do you think that's something she is doing? What is she hoping to get out by doing that?
By seducing, you gain power, right, over that person, because now you can influence that person or control to some extent, because now that person is in your web of control and to get ahead, to control, to gain power, to gain access, all the things that come when you seduce someone.
So you think all the things she was accusing you of trying to control, manipulate her, she was actually laying the groundwork to do that to you?
Exactly. And if you look at Julia's actions or Yulia's action, you're going to see that she accuses you of what she is capable of.
And I was leaving a mental psychological abuse.
Okay, so you hear the claims from the other lady. You hear what Adriana's side is. And this is Adriana at the reunion that's airing tonight. And Adriana took getting outed very graciously. She took it very graciously. Like, that's what I considered it when Julia Lemgova, who is an active member of the LGBTQIA community, and her and her wife are same-sex marriage. I think she's like the first same-sex marriage in housewife history or something like that. And for her to, in essence, out Adriana Demora, who lives as a straight woman, who's never gave an inkling of hint towards being a lesbian or part of the LGBTQIA community at all, she's never out of her mouth said it. It's not like she's Portia Williams talking about, I've got a boyfriend and a girlfriend. It's not like she's Ashley Darby talking about, oh yeah, I date girls too. It's not like either one of those situations. It's not like Candy Burris, who put on rainbows and came out a couple years ago. It's not like any of those situations. Adriana Demora has lived as a straight woman and never mentioned that she has ever entertained at all anything from a woman or any same-sex activities. So to me, what Julia did, especially as a member of that community, because from what I understand, I'm not a member of that community, but everybody's like, oh my God, you outed that person? How could you? Da, 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 da. Like, it was a big deal. It's a huge deal to come out, right? So if it's such a huge deal to come out, then why would a person who's a member of that community freaking out this lady? Isn't that like wrong? Am I tripping or am I not tripping? Like, do I have a point or do I not have a point? I feel, even if you say I don't have a point, I have a damn point, because she outed Adriana. And this is the look on Adriana's face when it happened, you guys. That's like, oh shit. Isn't that kind of like, oh shit, can't believe she's doing this right now. Just let me take it graciously. Like she's literally like gritting her teeth. Uh-huh. Gotta touch you.
Of trying to control, manipulate her, she was actually laying the groundwork to do that to you.
Exactly. And if you look at Julia's actions or Yulia's action, you're going to see that she accuses you of what she is capable of.
And I was leaving a mental psychological abuse by Adriana. She controlled my life. She controlled the friendships with all the women in our group. She was blackmailing me with this.
I got a little confused in watching part 2 about the timeline of this friendship, because when the show came back, we were presented that the two of you had been in each other's lives for a while, that you were pretty close. she's now kind of painting this timeline of we only just met right before the show started. So what is the reality, the truth there?
Oh, damn commercials. I tell you, maybe I will re-sign up for premium.
No, the reality is I met her, many years before through common friends when I was living on Fisher Island. Her and Martina have just relocated to Miami. And then my friend said, oh, introduce a good friend of mine, she just moved in here. She needs to, make friends and new people. And, that's how it started. It's interesting to see people's true intentions and what's really inside their heart, Her intentions are never to stay and stick around and build, because it's easier to just to take, conquer and then leave, it's easier to destroy than to build. And I'm a long-term type of person. I like to build things, I like to build my relationships, build my career, build my education. I believe in adding on, not discarding. But that's not how she does things.
So looking back, it seems clear that you were the person who kind of recommended her to enter this group.
And that's true, because Adriana Demora is currently, as an active member of Real Housewives of Miami, she pulled a Candace Dillard Bassett also. And who else? What other housewives do it? Where she's in a master's program while she's actively a housewife. She's in a master's program at Harvard, of all places, Adriana Demora. And so she loves freaking additional learning, and she's all about, she's the evermore student kind of thing. She speaks like 7 languages. She's very well traveled. And I she just has a good head on her shoulders. And for Adriana to be outed by Julia and then be painted like this villain who sexcapated her, but she's not even gay. So how did she all of a sudden just seduce a full lesbian, but she's never been gay before? How did that happen? I don't know. Maybe it could. Hey, I already told you I'm not from there. I'm not. I don't know. But this never happened to me. I'm a straight woman, and at no time have I ever just been like, oh my God, all of a sudden want to seduce a woman. That's never happened, So I'm not sure why they even let Julia finish her sentences, actually. Because it's blasphemous, especially with Andy Cohen as the freaking host of the reunion, for him to not say anything about Adriana being outed. That's interesting. I wonder if it had been a man, would he have been like, oh, well, did the world know that?
Enter the orbit of the show. Do you think she was using you to get to this point?
I had 2 other friends that are, really good friends that had fabulous lifestyles. They were just fabulous. And that I was considering who to introduce to the show. But when I thought of Julia, I thought it was about time we made, TV history. And it would be my honor to introduce a same-sex couple, to the franchise. And if I could be the catalyst for it, I would feel like I'm doing what I can, my share, to give, representation to a community that has now is being represented in the masses. That was my intention. So for me, it was like, okay, let's just, use this platform to change, to create change.
She alleged in part 2 that you had pitched her a storyline, essentially, to run away together.
She asked me, will you leave Martina for me? And then added, what a storyline. Oh my God, what a storyline it would make.
Was that ever a conversation?
Never a conversation. She wishes. Perhaps she wishes. People that were around us said she was fixated on me and that she was, had googly eyes, So maybe in her head, in her mind, that was the things that she wished for. But no, not in my head. I don't plot, I'm very I say it like it is.
You're maybe organic to a fault sometimes.
Yeah, to a fault, to my own detriment sometimes. Too honest for my own detriment sometimes,
Who here believes
when Julia brought this to the group, The group overwhelmingly believed her accounts.
This credit trick was banned
You know
from the
why they
American
believed
public
it?
for decades. Now, a hidden consumer law in 2025
Here I am,
proves
guys.
it's the
You
key
know
to
why they believed
skyrocketing
it?
your score into the 700.
I had to get something to drink. So I've been making, well, let me show you guys real quick. So on my morning live this morning, I had made quiche. I made a bacon, bell pepper, onion quiche this morning. And, but in the fall, I make this like, I call it a fall refresher. And it's like peach green tea with ginger and elderberry tea. And because, you know, the fall, elderberry, you need elderberries in you. So yeah. So I make that refresher. And then I'm going to put some Zero Canada Dry in there for a little fizz. And it's like a homemade soda. Yeah. Perfection. So I just needed to get something to drink. But yes. What do you guys think of that? I'm like, oh my God, Julia. Julia's such a freaking psycho at this point. This is just psycho behavior. And she has always had very crazy eyes. I went back and looked at the pictures. I'm like, yeah, this bitch is crazy. Yeah, but you know, also what happened to Julia is that she had a son already in her life from her womb. But she had it with an alleged Russian mobster. And if you guys Google, just Google, the man in the latex suit, I think it's called The Man in the Latex Suit. So her baby daddy was found in a latex suit, unalived, after her child met some kind of crazy end where allegedly his family sent the maid to do it. I don't know. That's the story. That's the story, allegedly. But hey, they be listening. Let me shut the fuck up, because they be listening, y'all. Yeah, the fact that there is an audience for the housewives is an embarrassment. Yes, I know. I'm an embarrassment, Southern girl. I'm just finishing up the season. My friend talked me off of Housewives. I have not engaged in any of the new buffoonery, in any of the new faking McFuckerson, because there are 2 new shows on. There's Potomac just dropped, and Salt Lake City, and I usually will do anything to just support melanated sisters, but I am not participating in the debauchery of Ashley Darby's new forehead, nor am I participating in the debauchery of Lisa borrow $1 million, not pay you back. I'm not. All their whole lifestyles are fucking fake. Every single one of them is fake and got a case. And then Wendy over on Potomac. Wendy missed 4 degrees of all people. Ends up with the freaking feds raiding the house and arresting you in front of the babies over fraud for insurance. Now, what I'm saying about that is that you're innocent until proven guilty, obviously. You're innocent until proven guilty. So, but still, that's a bum ass way to go out if it turns out to be true. At least in my opinion. Back to Adriana.
Well, because obviously they would believe it because we were close, but you know, she goes around kissing everybody, tonguing everybody, and then she'll, you know, then with me it would be even more. So I understand why people would think that. Yeah.
She presented bringing this out as if I don't say this now, she's going to use this against me in the future. Have you ever threatened her with this information? Have you ever attempted to black?
Never. First of all, I don't blackmail people, never done, not my style. But now looking back, I feel like that was what she did. She's weaponizing sexuality in a way that, you know, that's what saddens me the most. You know, like being a big, you know, ally to this gay community, that she would, okay, I'm not gay, but if I were, do you know the consequences of being outed on national television in that manner?
That's what I'm saying.
It's not gonna be pretty.
They cut back to this clip from the finale where you said, like, don't make me go there, kind of threatening her with information. Was that the Haitian mortician thing that you then ultimately brought out?
No, I wasn't even.
What else was on your mind?
No. It was all about my music. The whole thing was about the music. She came for me and started questioning why did I go to her opera thing. She came in with the intent of ruining that night, not to applaud, not to support, and to antagonize me why I didn't go to her,
She did.
her thing. When I was like, she knew why I didn't go. I couldn't go, and we had texts back and forth. I said, "Listen, I'm so sorry. I can't. I have my rehearsal." And then they're antagonizing me, saying, "Well, if you really cared, you would change." It was like, no,
Happy
I'm
Thursday,
saying
Bianca!
Professional musicians, you cannot change their schedules like this. So it to me was that I was gonna say what that.
So that did happen. Bianca, thanks for coming through. You know I love you. We got our super mod Bianca Edwards in the house. Smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring my bell. Ring my bell. And you'll get notified when I go live, all right? And over here in the TikTok, can you go ahead and tap my screen? It don't cost a thing. Thank you. Thank you, Bianca. Look, you're working two things like me. We are in parallel universes together on the most benevolent timeline, by the way, though. So we're watching Adriana Demora. We're pre-gaming the Real Housewives of Miami reunion. Third part comes on tonight. And we heard the lies that Julia's mouths told us last week, and now we're hearing Adriana's truth. And I had just mentioned, didn't I, people? I had just talked about the fact that Adriana practically got outed on national TV, y'all. That's not okay. And oh look. Yeah, and so for that to have been the case, maybe I should do this way. For that to have been the case, let him cook, so to speak. So for that to have been the case, I'm glad that Adriana Demora is also saying, in fact, she was outed, you guys. She was just outed on national TV by a person in the LGBTQIA community. Now let's put this back. You guys, I have the setup and it's kind of working on janky, but it's getting us through. See my African pride flag over there? Oh, hey, Devon. Yes. So we are pre-gaming for tonight's third installment. Let's finish up. So far, Adriana is just now talking about being outed by freaking Julia's around the town lips.
You know, first of all, she never had any musicality to her. Music was never in her radar. And what I was going to disclose was the fact that when she left Martina, okay, to fighting not one but two cancers, and decided to leave Martina to go in New York to go to Paris to have a full facelift. And when I told her, Julia, don't do that. That's not gonna look good if somebody finds out. She says, oh, you know, because she gets angry. So now finally people are seeing her true reaction. She gets she doesn't like to be called out, and she gets very aggressive when you call her out. So she got really aggressive and she said, this was scheduled, and what difference does it make? She goes, oh, I know, and I'm gonna go see my daughter. Well,
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. We need.
It wasn't just her daughter she went to see. She went to go get a facelift.
the daughter had to leave school every day and be her nurse.
Thank you, baby. That's
She was
it.
using her daughter to be her nurse, while Martina is alone in New York City fighting two cancers.
Okay.
So who does that? She's so selfish. It's all about her and her compulsion to go get more and more and more and to appropriate, because she can create. And people who can create appropriate.
Talk about it, Adriana.
So that was my big bomb at that time. I wasn't going to disclose this that I'm disclosing right now, you know?
Okay.
It was nothing to do with sexuality, with hooking up, with her affairs that she has had.
Isn't she gorgeous? She's 60, you guys.
She has had, it's not the first time Martina
She just
left
turned
her
60.
because she had an affair when they were living in Paris and Martina left her for good. She had to grovel to Martina for 4 months to forgive her and bring her back. It's a pattern of behavior. That's who she truly is.
The Haitian mortician thing, which she did not deny, which I thought was interesting.
She was in a bad place. She was in a bad place. She was cheating on Martina with a Haitian mortician. She used to take him to the motel, pay for the motel,
Hey,
pay him
Shelps!
something, and had to give him a coffee machine as a gift. You forgot about that little bit?
How did you learn of that information? Did she confide in you, or is this something you heard and you had to bring to her?
I'm not sure.
She told me we were
Is that a
sitting,
new thing
in
you're
the
doing?
backyard having a glass of wine, and she was just
Did I
bragging
filter
about.
something?
She was just saying how Martina was annoying and boring, and Martina wasn't fun because Julia is all about the fun, and how, but she, we had these lovers, and then she's talking about the Haitian lover and the cop lover, like.
So do you think she presents a version of herself on TV that is not who you know her to be?
I would say that, yes, Julia presents a person, 6-0, as in 6-0, as in, how did Karen Hugo put it? 320s or something. Karen Hugo used to say it a cute way when she got to 6-0. Yes, 6-0. Okay? She's the best looking one. All those other bitches are so mad that she's the oldest and the flyest. Especially Marisol's knees and Marisol's liver. But I love Adriana Demora. Do you guys feel like she's telling the truth, or do you guys feel like what you saw of the lady in the blue sequin dress is telling the truth? Put it in the comments for us.
Exactly. Yeah. But she fooled even I, because in the beginning of the friendship, I thought she was a sweet animal lover, same-sex marriage couple that I wanted to represent. My ideals they were altruistic and to bring people that represented the community and that were, upstanding people, not someone that went through her whole life using people, cheating on people, and then twisting things and becoming the victim.
I thought it was interesting.
And that's exactly what Julia did to Gertie. She lied. She played the victim to Gertie, got Gertie to come on a trip with her saying that Martina had to have some cancer stuff happen. And can Gertie please go with her on this trip? And that's her +1. And she's just going to be there because Martina can't. So that means I'm doing dinners and we're going to things with all the stuff. At least that's what it implies. So then they get to the ship and Julia ghosts her basically. Practically ghosts her. And then when Gertie's texting her on the boat talking about, oh, where are we at? She's like, oh yeah, you can't come to this dinner. There's not enough room. So then Gertie went and made other plans and while she was by herself at a dinner, now that she's by herself, of course, you see Gertie's IG, she's always doing content. She's ever doing content, okay? And so she was uploading content. So then Julia comes back and was like, oh, Gertie just told me she could go with me, not because to be my +1, because she didn't even spend any time with me, and totally flipped everything that happened. Not that she ghosted her, but that Gertie ghosted Julia. Not that Julia ghosted Gertie, but it was, yeah. So then Gertie put those text messages up at her party that the Not magazine let her throw for herself. It wasn't a cancer party. And when she put those images up, Bravo is in on the shits against Black women. I've talked about it often. In on the shits against Gertie, because they didn't have to blur that. They could have let it be seen perfectly to the entire audience, and whoever had eyeballs and a zoom on their TV would have been able to see the text thread was obviously Julia begging Gertie to come. You see what I'm saying? So it would establish the lies that Julia is. But instead, Bravo, being in on the shits, blurred it and even has Andy asking, well, what was on the thing? Bitch, you blurred it. You should have asked him before you blurred it. Come back asking me. Anyway, but the girls were there in real time and they saw it clear as day. It wasn't blurred in real time, obviously. So Adriana is establishing a definite pattern that Julia is the villain, and then she switches and then she becomes the victim.
That Stephanie, who's known her the least amount of time backstage and kind of discussing the aftermath of the bombshells, described her as a nymphomaniac.
I think she just made all that up. Adriana? Yeah, I think. No, Julia's a nymph. Are you kidding?
No,
She's trying to. I think she is.
Yeah, Stephanie got a good read on her. And yeah, that's true. Because, for example, when Alexia refused to share a bedroom with her, maybe Alexia was smarter than I. Because Alexia was like, oh, I don't want her to use this against me later. Probably thinking, now they're gonna label me as lesbian or, somebody that's sleeping with a married woman. So when you start to like look back and really analyze, I feel like I was the victim of her intent.
Little Red Riding Hood. Let's start the
Wow,
story
I think she was a victim
It was
too.
dark inside the wolf.
To quote, Frank engaged me, and then later, use this, have it a trump card in her pocket when she needed
Has
to.
all the old hags mad, right, Shelves?
There's a lot of internet speculation that a shakeup is going to come, that we've had the same cast for quite a few years now, and it's going to be some big change come season 8. Do you think there's a world where you and Julia can both still exist on the show and in this group, or does one have to go?
Listen, trust has been broken. I think the world can see her for who she truly is at this point. I believe in second chances. At the same time, if there was a lot of repenting and apologizing and not wanting to be this person, perhaps we could mend things. But, the real Julia is out now. And now we're here.
And it doesn't seem like she would necessarily do that at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, she
has now
probably, she
proven
did.
that she's not the representation. She doesn't have the sensitivities and, doesn't conduct by the unspoken codes of LGBTQ community because she's showing her true colors and her colors are not the colors you find in the rainbow flag.
Not at all,
Have you spoken to her
bitch.
since reunion?
No. Why? No.
Well, and we've got a part 3 still to watch, so I'm sure there is more to come.
Girls, I would not go through the pain of it all without your support.
Is there anything we should be bracing for with that finale?
But I think that
I don't know. You know what I really hope is for tonight's finale that not only does this come to a conclusion, but I really want Gertie to say what she said. We did see, the sleuths of the internet. We noticed that Gertie walked in with like a black binder kind of thing. That means she has some receipts. And then right before the break, at one point, Adriana was like, "Oh, you need to tell him the exactly what happened. You need to tell him. You need to tell him." And she said, "Oh, they're not interested in the details." So we're wondering if, in fact, production was like, "Oh, no, put that away, black lady, because you'll be able to prove that this white bitch has been lying on you all season, and we need to play you off like you're the problem." Oh, I'm sorry, I said all that out loud. But like, production may have perhaps done some bullshit and not allowed her to pull out the binder. Or to even like get out 1 or 2 receipts on that ass. And I would need Gertie to still be here next season. Now, Larsa, all she's going to do, if Larsa, usually what Larsa does is nobody pays attention to her. The other 2 things of the reunion, Milo, nobody pays attention to her except for the other, 2 things of the reunion. So then the third part of the reunion, Larsa's MO, is to usually go hella hard and just insert herself in every conversation and be very argumentative and high-key aggressive and angry Lebanese woman or white woman. Is she white? I don't know. But Larsa, angry Larsa woman. And just so she can be like, people call that good housewifing. I don't call that shit good housewifing. I call it like, you didn't have shit going on, so now you hear yelling at the end of part 3, bitch. Anyway, let's finish up with Adriana's truth.
biggest bombs have been dropped.
Yeah.
Now it's just the aftermath of the bombs being dropped and see how things are gonna, settled in a way.
Yeah. The aftershocks and some of those other conversations, I think we got a sneak peek of you getting emotional over the discussion around age and aging in this group. Do you have any regrets about the comments about Marisol's knees, or do you stand by those yacht day comments?
Off your old car, your wrinkled knees.
It's not my, proudest moments. I was triggered, I was reactive. I felt really hurt by Marisol when she, refusing to film with me. And it started from day 1 of filming. She was just actively, forbidding Alexia to let me come to their, events. So I was triggered, but am I proud of it? No. Do I wish, we didn't have to be like that? I do wish. And if somebody actually wish I could reconcile with would be her, because we were in the path of reconciliation and I was feeling pretty happy about it until
Julia.
If you live in a California
Until
zip code
Julia.
that have 0 DUIs in the last 5 years, listen.
people got in the middle and it got all muddled up again. But
Well, and it's kind of a sad way to end the season because it did seem like you two were making small steps forward.
Marisol is the Heather Dubrow of Miami,
Ratchet
allegedly.
thing.
Stop being so ratchet.
To me, Marisolis is the Heather Dubrow of Miami, not in wealth status at all, but in as much as she gets the information and parses it out among the other people and then sits back and lets things blow up. Like, I feel like Marisolis is the number one person for info on that show. And contrarily, on the other side, it would be Heather Dubrow, because who gets the most info? The people with the most money, right? Right. But in Marisol's case, she's been in PR in the scene. That was her job. So because of that as her background, she has the freaking, oh wow, her eyes look like lizard eyes. She has the, can you get bigger? You can't. Oh, you're sideways. You can't get big. You see how their eye looks like a freaking lizard eye? Because I paused it. It shouldn't look like a lizard.
I'm too old to be talking like this to people.
She gave you the word wretched as a way to save yourself, and then has now revealed to the world she did that, and that maybe you did actually say ratchet.
yeah. Well, no, let's just be clear again about the situation. I actually just confided in her. I was distraught. She used the opportunity, because Marisol is very conniving, and just pulled it out on the phone. And I said exactly that. And she goes, "Now you owe me." But I'm saying, for a girl, you don't even know the difference. I mean, how can she teach me a word when she doesn't even know the difference between stigma and astigmatism? Sorry.
And the more important person involved in that whole ordeal is Kiki, who was at the receiving end of that word. Have the two of you been able to?
It's just a word. Get over it. Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah.
Shut the
exactly.
fuck up.
Because Kiki and I have a good rapport, and she understood that didn't come from a malicious way, even the way I delivered it on. I wish I had just used the word miserable that I intended to say. But it's, Kiki, thank God, saw the intention, and I saw, her intention, so we're good. But they keep bringing this up. Why? Like, let it go,
So how do you think where Reunion lands sets the stage for a potential season 8, and what would you like to see happen with this group moving forward?
Oh my God. Just to say, did you see those costumes?
Have some time.
Who'd you think was worse dressed? Stephanie Shoja. How does the only lady with the jet get worse dressed? You need to file all your stylists. Anybody who put you in that outfit needs to be fired tooth sweet. What the was that? It almost looked like something a lady would wear to a church event that turns into an evening event at church, except for like she had on hot pants with it, like it's interchangeable. Maybe it had a long skirt and she decided to put the shorts on with it. It was horrible. I did not like it. I did not like it. I just didn't. It looked like a freaking, what are those people that play the music around the Mexican food? Mariachis. It looked like it was almost a mariachi outfit, but in green, leprechaun green. It was horrible. Horrible. I feel like, yeah, I just had to say that. And then they put her front and center.
And truly resets, because we're all human and we all have good moments, bad moments. But I feel like at the end of the day, we've known each other for a long time. I feel like at the end of the day, we all wish well on each other.
No, they don't,
that,
Adriana. They hate you.
For me, at least, I'm, working toward, self-betterment. I'm far from perfect, but, my goal is to become a better person overall, and hopefully, have better relationships with this group of girls that I do love, and I do, hope to continue to have in my life.
And maybe you'll bring out that Haitian mortician and he can tell us his side of the story.
Yes. That would be excellent if she could bring out the Haitian mortician. Okay. So that was one part, you guys. I don't want to scare you being too close. So let's do this and then make it small. Is that as small as it'll go? Is that as small? Oops. Shit. Larger. Shit, larger. I'm sorry, you guys. Shit is one of the words. Okay. No cancel. We need to do this. We need to flip. Okay, so we flipped that one. And we flipped this one. Hi. Okay. So that was one thing I wanted to show you guys. Now, so because this is pregame for tonight. For tonight's Real Housewives of Miami. This is pregame, okay? And because it's pregame, that was Adriana's truth. Now we're going to get, and the thumbnail said that this was RHOM, truths and lies, right? So we just did the truth with Adriana, okay? Now we're going to get to the lies with Lexia. She's been lying to us, y'all. And because we're going to read what Todd said in his complaint against Bravo for $10 million. You guys, I'm live. Don't be behind me. Those are my kids. Okay, so let me pull this up. Let's make this small. Escape. Just bear with me real quick. One moment. What'd you say, huh? What'd you say? Oh. I don't like that. Okay, so now let me see what I did. Docs. So now we're going to look at the complaint from Todd Nepola, Lexia's now ex-husband, because she told us she wasn't talking to that fool no more, but people in the neighborhood have been saying that the lie detector determined that's a lie. She's been incognito hats trying to meet him to hook up with that peen. I guess Todd Nepola got that peen. She couldn't stay off it the whole season, even though she was trying to sell us a divorce storyline. And then he finally divorced her because she was lying on him so much during the thing and let her friends lie on him. But that's part of my problem with Todd is like, how dare you keep on saying that Adriana lied on me and they just rolled with it. Well, your wife and you attacked Adriana the season before that when she had brought her boyfriend on there and you guys were saying that he was married and you had 3 things to say about that. And that man was not married. That man was not married, you guys. So, Adriana said I'm broke and it hurt my business. Well, you said that she was dating a married man and that made her a whore. That hurts her reputation. So I call you guys even at this point. But no, he wants $10 million. Okay. Yeah, he wants it. Did this one go? Wait. Oh, let me do. Okay, undo. So now there should just be 1. Okay, so there's a 14-page filing. And we're going to look at the key points on here together because he's saying basically everything Lexi has been saying this whole entire season and reunion is a fucking lie. And that's expected from a freaking, she's practically, look, her 2 of her exes were full-on drugstore cowboys. I mean, like that movie Blow, like those were her boyfriends. Her baby daddy is in jail for lewd and lascivious acts against minors. And they are propping her up on these shows as what? Like what? And then she comes on and she acts all conceited and is high-key freaking, She act like a supremacist and she ain't. She's a dope dealer's baby mama. That's what's going on. But no, Bravo has her thinking that she's a star because they keep giving her the chair next to Andy. They give her the chair next to Andy. And it just wipes away 2 dope dealer boyfriends, 2 drugstore cowboy boyfriends. So where is her money really from? And then her other husband died under another man. And then they let the guy that got arrested for lewd and lascivious acts against minors. Lewd and lascivious acts against minors is practically another way to say PEDO. Practically. The minors infers that. They motherfuckers had him on the show, you guys. They gave that full screen time when he fresh got out of jail for lewd and lascivious acts against minors. And then they give Lexia the first chair every chance they get. But then they blur Gertie's receipts that Julia's a bald-faced Russian bot liar. Call me crazy, but I'd say there was some kind of freaking program in place. Anyway, let's get turned around here. Turn it. Bam. And let's get turned around here. Bam. Because these are the docs for Todd Nepola, plaintiff, versus Bravo Media, Universal, purveyors of pop production Inc. You mean all the people who actively act against Black women? Really? Really? They finally getting theirs? Let's read about it, you guys. Let's read about it. Oh, shit, mother. Here it is. Okay, so this is page 1. Oh, 1 of 22. I only have to page 14, you guys. So this says, can you see this? Oh, sorry. There we go. There we go. So this says, plaintiff Todd Nepola or Mr. Nepola hereby sues defendants Bravo Media, NBC Universal, and purveyors of pop productions, collectively defendants for defamation, violation Florida statutes, unauthorized publication of name and likeliness, and alleges as follows. By now, even the most casual consumer of American popular culture is aware the term reality TV is a misnomer, as is now commonly confirmed by the participants and producers alike. It's 100% manipulated. As one of the editors of a reality show explained last year, editors have been instructed for years to feed you counterfeit drama to keep you watching so networks could get more money from advertisers. So network executives could show more profits, okay? And give themselves higher salaries. Unfortunately, while this counterfeit drama may help network executives generate higher salaries and reward shareholders with higher stock prices, the real people whose lives are too often derisively referred to as reality television fodder, who are actually impacted and manipulated and defamed in the process. Mr. Nepola is one such person. Unlike traditional scripted television or news reporting, reality television represents and portrays the individual participants as themselves, not as fictional characters or dramatized versions thereof. In shows such as Real Housewives of Miami, sorry, you guys. Where's my liquid? Go ahead and tap the screen. It don't cost a thing. Smash that like button. I can read, you guys. That's hey. There's a lot of people that can't read today. And I'm reading for you. Go ahead and tap the screen, give it a like, share the video. You know the routine. There we go. Okay. Mr. Nepola is such a person. Unlike traditional scripted television, Real Housewives of Miami. The viewing public is led to believe that events, character portrayals, and interpersonal dynamics are reflective of the cast members' real lives. This perception is deliberately cultivated by the producers and networks, including defendants NBC, Bravo, and PPP, who carefully edit and construct storylines to create maximum dramatic impact while maintaining the illusion of authenticity. As a result, defamatory statements or implications, such as those falsely portraying the plaintiff as a financially irresponsible or suffering from financial distress, are perceived by viewers as factual and are subsequently treated as such across social media, fan forums, and related platforms. Reality television fandom, unlike typical media audiences, is highly interactive, self-organizing, and prolific. Fans create and operate blogs, Reddit communities, TikTok channels, YouTube commentary videos, Instagram fan accounts, and long-running podcasts that focus almost exclusively on dissecting and amplifying storylines and perceived truths about these cast members. The Real Housewives of Miami, RHON, which was produced by PPP and airs on NBC-owned channel Bravo, just concluded its 7th season. Real Housewives of Miami is an installment of NBCU Bravo's massively successful Real Housewives franchise, which over the years has spawned 27 spin-off series, thousands of episodes, and millions of hours of drama, some real, most manufactured. RHOM purports to document the real personal and professional lives of a group of affluent women who live in and around Miami, Florida. Mr. Nepola's ex-wife, Alexia as we call her over here, Nepola Ni Irvera, Alexia, has been featured member on Real Housewives of Miami since its inception in 2011. Nevertheless, RHOM has continued to intentionally and maliciously air defamatory statements about Mr. Nepola, misuse his name and likeness, and damage his reputation in the Miami business community. PPP, Bravo, and NBCU have demonstrated that they will twist and distort the truth to manipulate. Oh, wait. You guys can't even see the whole screen over here. There you go. Sorry about that, TikTok. Will twist and manipulate the story's lines regardless of the path of destruction they leave behind, as long as the content makes for good television. The defamatory narrative initiated on the show triggered a wave of commentary across these platforms, resulting in thousands of public statements, comments, and ongoing discussions that falsely reinforce and exacerbate the original defamatory message. The producers and network fully understood this dynamic, having fostered and monetized it over multiple seasons and franchises. Thus, the harm suffered by the plaintiff is not limited to the initial broadcast, but it includes ongoing reputational injury, emotional distress, and economic harm caused by the widespread online amplification and foreseeable consequences of the show's design and marketing. To be clear, these statements have real implications. RHOM is a popular program with a wide global audience, extensive media coverage, and Bravo, NBC, and PPP have knowingly caused and or permitted members of RHOM to make false defamatory statements about Mr. Nepola's financial position, and then aired these distortions of fact and reality, resulting in damage to Mr. Nepola's personal and professional life and reputation. Unlike isolated instances of defamation in traditional media, such as a single article, news broadcast, or scripted television episode, reality television operates in a serial format that compounds reputational harm over time. In The Real Housewives of Miami, the plaintiff is not treated as a one-time subject of commentary, but as a recurring cast member portrayed through intentionally edited and manufactured storylines season after season. So he's telling us that his wife has manufactured storylines, which I'm telling you has been my whole issue with damn Lexia, is that she's faking McFuckerson and has no storyline. It's all fake. I've been saying that. He's saying that. Okay, and that's her husband blowing her ship up, okay? This results in the typecasting of the plaintiff into fixed persona, one that is persistently reinforced regardless of the truth of the real life developments. In plaintiff's case, the narrative suggests financial irresponsibility or insuitability and was introduced and repeatedly emphasized by defendants despite its falsity. This false characterization was not limited to a single episode or season. Rather, once established, it became a dominant lens through which plaintiffs portrayed, with producers actively shaping scenes, editing conversations out of context, and encouraging cast members to amplify this narrative on camera. This practice, commonly in reality television, exploits the public's belief that what they are watching is a genuine reflection of real life. Defendants cannot plausibly deny reasonability. Defendants cannot plausibly deny responsibility for the public's reaction when they are the architects of the storyline. While producers may argue that they cannot control how the public perceives a character, this is false and disingenuous defense. The very nature of reality television relies on producer-driven manipulation of reality, including selective editing, manufactured conflict, and the deliberate construction of emotionally charged narratives designed to provoke audience response. Defendants knew or should have known that portraying the plaintiff in a negative light, particularly in connection with financial integrity, would not only impact the show's fictional narrative, but would damage the plaintiff's real-life reputation, business and opportunities, and personal relationships. Furthermore, producers and networks monetize on this reputational harm by leveraging public reaction to boost ratings, attract advertisers, and fuel ongoing media coverage, fan discourse, and digital engagement. Therefore, the harm caused by plaintiffs is not accidental, incidental, or isolated. It is systematic, repeated, and central to the business model of defendants, who bear full responsibility for the foreseeable and lasting consequences of their defamatory portrayals. What you say, Todd? Todd is saying all the shit that I've been saying about them for the longest time, but I've been saying it in relation to how they portray specifically melanated goddesses as the harmful stereotype across all of their productions. Okay? NBC means no blacks and colors. That's practically what NBC means at this point. Because they let you on, but then they stereotype you. They typecast you. That's what he just said. They edit you in a systematic, repeated way, and they're fully responsible for that shit. We always say, oh, it's reality TV. They did something for it to get edited. Yes, and the editors definitely play a part in that, why the world would think a person like Giselle or Ashley Darby's forehead is better than a Candace Darby, when both of them are full of lies, deceit, and chaos, and fakey McFuckerson. But when they get edited in the systematic, repeated way, it's not accidental, incidental, or isolated. It's ongoing, that they constantly make these freaking, they do it over and over again. Tell me when they've given us actually a great edit, and I'll shut the fuck up. But they haven't. It's always detrimental by the end. Always. Yeah, sure, K. Michelle is showing her ass right now, but they're gonna make it even worse. Yes. Where was I? The harm caused by the plaintiff is not limited to single defamation in a single episode of Real Housewives of Miami. Rather, defendants have continuously rebroadcast and republished the defamatory narrative through a variety of channels, including reruns, streaming platforms, promotional clips, after shows, and social media campaigns, with full awareness of the resulting damage to plaintiff's reputation. The defamatory content has been aired and re-aired across multiple platforms, including traditional cable, on-demand streaming, via Peacock. You know Peacock is in on the shits about harmful stereotyping and harmful production of melanated goddesses with what they just did to Olandria Carthan over on the thing, but no weapon formed against her, because she is the person of the year right now for Ebony magazine. So even with how they tried to make her look all desperate and chasey after that man and just, oh my God. And anyway, that's a whole other show, Leah. Okay. In addition, defendants have not passively allowed the storyline to linger. They have actively fueled it through ongoing content production. This includes reunion episodes, after shows such as Watch What Happens Live, promotional interviews, cast blogs, social media interactions that reference and perpetuate the same false statements. These mechanisms are intentionally designed to keep the audience engaged in the drama, regardless of the truth or the damage inflicted on the plaintiff. The pattern of conduct reveals that the subject defamation is a deliberate, calculated component of the show's business model, where character-based narratives are extended over multiple seasons and leveraged across media channels to drive viewership and profit. By keeping the defamatory narrative